Hello, I'd like to welcome back to a little game called something or another. Welcome to 1000 Amps, which I'll probably do the boss in its own video, but today I just want to clean up the area. Like getting all the things set up and done. At least remember I have this power now. There we go. What a weird room design, but whatever. Is that a room I missed? Oh, fuck, I gotta investigate that now. No, it's just a room filled with guff. Well, fuck, now I gotta go the way around. Oh, I'm supposed to approach this from above, huh? Alrighty then, mate. Alrighty then. I wanted to record doing this room, but for reasons that I don't fully understand, it just completely freaked out. And here we are. Next up, I need to find a door. And this is... Okay, I'll find a door, and then once I reach a door, I've got to go back to the tree. Apparently, another room that I missed. Sure hope I have them all now. Because those rooms are a little bit finicky to find. Oh, that's pretty neat. It's like it's only one, but you gotta have an upgrade to do it. That's alright with me. Okay, so there's a couple more rooms up here I need to do. There's that one, there's the Chunky Chunk room, there's the stuff over to the left, and then there's a bunch of rooms down there as well. Okay. I think I'm seeing another room down here. I think I am. Or that might just be me. Well, I gotta check it out either way. I think that's the last few rooms. If everyone was a percent, this might work out just fine, though. Oh, I love how he's still there because this is like, it's an introduction area. That's so dumb. Was that Joy to the World? I fucking said if I ever heard... It is Ode to Joy, because it says so on the fucking title. Whoops. And another seed. Wait, what? Only with everything. I guess so. I guess so. I'm still missing 2% though. And there's only one room I can see, so maybe that little dark spot over there is still something. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to pull out some guides or do a run through of every single room and sort of puzzle it all together, I guess. Whoops. Completely forgot about that. So there's a little nook up here. Yeah. And I found the other nook too, which was... Where was it? It was over here. This little splotch over here is the final room I think I need. And then I got 100%. Did I really miss this? I really missed it. But 100%. Well, it's only like 5 minutes. So fuck it. It's odd that it gives you 26 when it costs 5 to skip a room. I hate that. I hate that. I hate it a little bit more. No, I hate the screen flashing less, because that screen flashing is way aggressive. They could have easily made that a slider. God damn it, I hate this. This fight is weird. That fight feels really fast. Compared to the rest of the game, it feels way more twitchy. That is annoying as all balls. Like, you have to do that because the camera is like delayed. When you have a delayed camera like that in a 2D space, don't expect someone to do something ahead of something that isn't visible on the initial screen. God damn. Well, they immediately just like, oh, there's gonna be like multiple sequels. I don't think there are though. I don't think there are. I need to check Steam right now. Store page. It's made in 2012. There are probably no sequels. I don't see any, at least. So that was 1,000 apps. It took me 1 hour and 50 minutes to beat. So that's like a minute a room or so? No, that's not how time works. Whoops. So it's a fine little game. It's made by one person, but again, goddamn. Do not have a flashing light as one of the central mechanics of your game. There are people with epilepsy. You just totally killed some people. It doesn't have any warning to what I can see either. Odds are that I know it's 2012. It's a little bit back, but even in 2012, we knew that epilepsy was a thing and that people might have some concerns with it. Like, there's no other major flashing lights in the game other than your central power. Sure, things go on and off, but lights go on and off with gradients. A lot of effects are relatively mild, but to make a complete screen flash, the central, a lot of people do that once in a cutscene, and it's generally a little bit more smooth of a fade in. But this is a hyper aggressive, you're dead now flash. It's fine though. I liked it. I think it works that it has tight block mechanical areas and then the tree areas with a couple of background elements to spruce it up a bit. It works really well. But I like how this guy said it took me 9 hours to beat, and it took me 2 hours. It was fine though. It's a good Metroidvania because it had that Metroidvania feel of you become stronger and things become easier as you go along, and that's how Metroidvania should feel. You know. Forward progress, evermore. So yeah, I gotta figure out what to play next. I think I'm gonna play this game that I bought called Poi. which sounds like hoi, which is a very nice greeting, which is how we'll be introducing every. But it works. It works. It works. At least I'm not saying howdy. Whatever happened to Hat in Time? I remember Hat in Time being kind of like Mighty Number 9. It sort of faded away. Well, at least Ukulele and Bloodstain were like, hey, here's some gameplay stuff and demos. We did work. I just love how Mighty Number 9 crashing is making a bunch of big profile people being like, listen, we're doing fine. Everything is coming along nicely. We're not like them, and it's just horrible. I will say, though, those do not look like pizzas to me, those explosions. They look more like Cheez-Its, pretzels, or giant splotches of tomato sauce. How in God's name those explosions look like they were made by someone who doesn't know how an explosion looks. In a lot of 3D games, explosions are particle effects that go outward and all that, but those explosions just look like someone threw a bottle of sauce at a wall and said that's an explosion animation now. It just doesn't feel good. Like, if you're going to do 2D like that, you can scale and rotate, but you generally want to have a couple of frames of like what they did in Wind Waker. Like, the explosions feel very vivid and animated, but that's 3D space. Generally, you want to have a couple of other sprites that they transition into as they grow and shrink and move to give it a little bit more zest. And those explosions just look like giant splotches of sauce. They don't look like explosions. Explosions aren't just a heat bubble. Explosions are consistent out of the shockwave. You've got the central part that is basically burning all to hell. And then you usually have smoke from things that are incompletely combusted. And you just have debris. You don't just have a giant pizza pie. Whoever made that, for God's sake, you had $4 million and 3 years to make a game, and an explosion animation that's going to be seen a bunch of times, at least to make it look good. I mean, it's your goddamn trailer. If you're going to make a trailer for a movie or anything, put in the good stuff and not the bad stuff. If a particular part looks like garbage, don't include it. You don't have to show anything in a trailer but what you want in it. And the fact that someone put it in means that someone was really proud of the pizza pie explosion animation and insisted they use it as a backdrop. Instead of, I don't know, using a more advanced and sophisticated looking CGI trailer component for that. Would have looked a lot better. People would have complained about the pizza pie. Although then, a lot of people would have been upset once they saw the pizza pie. My hope for Ukulele, by the way, is minimal. Bloodstained, because it's a lot more difficult of a formula to fuck up, because the original Castlevania Symphony of the Night, really easy game, really straightforward. A little bit more difficult to mess up. The animations and stuff look alright, so that's got that going for it. Hat in Time looked interesting. I haven't heard a shit about it, so I don't even know where that's going, or if I'm ever going to buy it. Probably will. As for Ukulele, that too. But I've got a problem, though. I got a problem with the Banjo-Kazooies. Which is probably why I will never play the Banjo-Kazooies, because if I do, oh banana peels, it's gonna go really bad. Especially Tui. Holy bananas, but Tui was just, ugh. You know, in retrospective, 1,000 amps, alright. It's a small little game. How expensive is it? Let's just see what the price is right now. It's €5. And it's 20% off right now, so you can get it for $4. This game is worth that. It's a little. You get a little bit of fun out of it. You get a little adventure out of it. It's not very advanced. The boss is garbage. That boss, to me, feels like we needed a final boss, so here's a final boss. I really do not like games that try to force a boss to be the climax of something when it doesn't matter. I mean, people are like, you need to have a final chance. You don't. The thing is, it's like saying every painting needs a frame. Every movie needs a credit sequence that works like this. No. You're in a creative medium. Be creative. Don't have like Fable's final boss is the transporter troop guy, and the final boss guy, I think his name was Cyril or something. Either you shoot him or the guy next to him gets up and shoots him for you. The point is that is an emotional discharge. It is a different kind of climax. After the combat climax, you have this big fight, and then you have this emotional revelation. That is good storytelling, because if you have both at once, things might get too charged, or maybe you don't handle it right, because the more tension and energy you pack into a single scene, the better you have to handle it for that scene to make any sense, or have any good... You know, you can't do that. And the way... it's so unique, too. Like, there's so few people that are like, the final boss is just a guy, you shoot him once, he's dead, compared to everyone else that takes 800 bullets to go down. Or you have like a puzzle challenge, and the final puzzle is just draw a line. Bloop! And you're done. And you can do stuff with that. I mean, it's technically what they did with oh God, I forgot the name. The Witness, right? Like the Witness, if you beat the game the regular way, the ending, and you go over to the ending location thing, it's a really simple draw some lines like you've done with a lot of things. And I feel that has a certain element to it that like you don't need a final boss. You do not need there to be a big bad that you have to beat up with a stick to complete the game. Because if you do that, you might actually take away from the experience. If the experience is not about beating up a guy, the final encounter being beating up a guy takes away from everything you've done before. If like that's one thing that I kind of don't like about Undertale is you need to fight Asgore even if up to that point you haven't done a thing to anyone. You have to fight him. And it creates this really sort of self-contradicting experience. Like, you don't have to do that fight. Like, if you know what you're doing, you can just go to the other ending where you don't have to fight anyone. But it feels extremely odd that that scene exists, implies you're becoming more violent over the fight, or maybe because I don't know. But it's you do not need a final boss. That is this particular. I think Bunny Op said it very well with The Witcher in you have this huge wedding, and it's all fun and dandy in The Witcher, and then you start fighting people because we need to have a video game part where you hit the people with the stick. I feel that, together with the mandatory final boss, are some of the worst things that ever happen. Truth be told, if your game is absolute garbage in terms of writing, for the love of God, include some combat because people do not give a damn, but you do not need that. You can end on an anticlimax, you can have your climax be resolved in a different way, or better yet, anticlimaxes are fine. You can have the final boss being a disappointment if you want. If it's thematically appropriate, do it. If your game is thematically consistent, that is more important than following a trope. Because if it's thematically consistent, the experience you're trying to deliver and convey is much stronger. If you have a movie that's all about the tension and the build up and the fakeness of what they're doing, and it doesn't end with them catching something, but with them catching something and it's not what it is, but they're like, oh, it is, or they don't catch anything at all and it's like, oh, it's probably a hoax, and you don't follow up on that, you're not like, oh, but it was real all along. That is an anticlimax that ties in so strong with the theme that it makes the movie have this experience to it. It's like, I was bamboozled. Exactly. Everyone in that movie was bamboozled because they thought it was real, but it wasn't. I've been talking for a very long time compared to the rest of the video about things that aren't relevant. Because this game had the mandatory final boss that really shouldn't be there because you never fight anything ever. And it just is dumb. Do not put a final boss in your game if it is not thematically appropriate for you to be fighting a final boss. You can have a final test, make it something else. It doesn't have to be the bad guy. You can make it like if you're doing a puzzle game, it can just be the big door before the final bad guy, and the final bad guy is resolved otherwise. It's just like that's the thing with Oblivion, right? Like in Elder Scrolls Oblivion, I don't think you have a final boss. The big final boss is fought by someone else, by Martin. And that is such a good way to do it, because you're not the chosen one. He is. He gets to fight the final boss. You're just his escort lackey. And it works super well. In Morrowind, I'm a little bit more upset, because Morrowind feels more RPG-ish, but it still tries to be that dungeoneer exploring thing, so you still have to fight Dagoth Ur. Except you don't, do you? No, you don't fight Dagoth Ur. You don't have to attack him. What you do is you destroy his machine, with which he's going to conquer the world. So I guess that's actually better than Skyrim. Because in Skyrim, it's like, you have to kill this guy. But it's an RPG exploration world. Why would I want to go to this dumb afterlife place? I do not like Skyrim very much, in case you don't know, but it's because something about Skyrim feels thematically inconsistent in its own writing, in that a lot of it is, go out there, have some fun, go meet some people, talk to some people. The thing with Morrowind is you need the support of the clans. I think you needed the support of the houses. You needed to gather allies, gather supplies. The idea was you are a dumb idiot. Everything else is super strong, get buff. It's thematically appropriate that you have to get strong and get buff by meeting up with guilds, doing all kinds of shit. In Skyrim, everything scales. So even already mechanically, there's this disconnect between you have to get strong to fight the guy, and every progression is it's done now. You are now resistant. There's no gameplay mechanic changes, but you are, promise, pinky promise. And it just doesn't feel honest. Like, I don't like Alduin. Alduin isn't even that tough of a fight. Like, that's the weird part, is everyone I've seen that has fought Alduin, he's a chump, and it doesn't work. If the big final bad that you've been leading up all game is a chump, and isn't even an interesting character, then why even bother? The main quest is so weak. And in Oblivion, it's pretty strong. Like in Oblivion, it's like you do a thing and then it goes down, and it really feels like a well-written story. In Morrowind, a little less, because Morrowind is significantly more static than it's very static because it is an older game. It didn't have the mechanics for it. Bloodmoon was... Morrowind was good because it didn't have voice acting and thus could display so much text. Oh, it could display. And that's something that these modern games, especially Skyrim, it feels so cut and dry. It's like the world doesn't matter. These are not people, they are elements to your game. And it's just, I hate it. I hate it so much. No one in Skyrim feels like a person because they're not willing to small talk with you about the details. Even in Oblivion, you could be like, listen, I need to get to this. This is a city. Where's the landmarks and all that? And that goes away, and it feels awful. That having been said, I feel The Witcher does what Skyrim should have done. They put out all this plot and relevant information, not by, as most games would, just giving you the dialogue options, but a lot of the plot, a lot of the world bleeds in the dialogue and the situations, and that's one way to do it, but that's not how fucking Skyrim did it, and it just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just one of those old grapes that played Morrowind when they were a little dumb baby and turned on God mode every time, and feels that Morrowind... I don't actually think Morrowind's better. I think the fact that it's so reliant on RPG rolling on whatever you hit or miss is a little bit dumb. I think the non-generating magicka system effectively makes mages absolute garbage, unless you know what the heck you're doing. I don't know. Although I do strongly disagree with Skyrim's homogenization of the system where you have 3 HP of HP, you have stamina, and you increase those. And if you increase stamina, you get a little bit of weight carrying. And you have perks. I've downloaded so many mods. I do love seeing the trees brought out a bit because I don't know. Maybe I'll have a better formed opinion once I play it again. I need to stop because the part of me talking is now longer than the part where I played, and that's kinda sad. Or is it? Who knows?